ayah of Surah Al-Ma'idah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بعد أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا, O believers, إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة, when you get up for prayer, فاغسلوا وجوهكم, then, fa means then wash your faces, وأيديكم, and your arms / hands, إلى المرافق, until the elbows, وامسحوا برؤوسكم, and then do the masah of your head, وأرجلكم, and then do the ghusl of your feet, إلى الكعبين, until the ankles. This is the part of the ayah, that's the portion for the wudu. So what do we learn from this? That as far as the parts that are mandatory for the wudu are washing the face, washing the arms, doing the masah of the head, and washing the feet, right? Is there anything else here? We've been studying a lot of depth, right? So we've been reading the book Akhsar al-Mukhtasarat by Sheikh Ibn Balban. So he said there are six parts of the wudu. He said there's ghaslul wajh, washing the face, ghaslul yadain, washing the arms, rijlain, washing the feet, ومسح جميع الرأس مع الأذنين, and doing the masah of the head with the ears, along with the ears. And then he said tartib, وترتيب, and the order, that's also a fard. Was it in the ayah? Inshallah we will discuss. And then he said the last one is وموالاة, which means continuity, immediacy. Inshallah we'll understand what that is. Both of them are not clearly indicated in the ayah, are they? There are no words around that. So we will learn, inshallah, the methodology of the scholars of how they extract rulings. Why did the Hanbali Imam Ibn Balban made these the fifth and the sixth pillar? Why? Let's inshallah study tonight, inshallah. So the first one is the tartib, the order. So like he said, tartib is the order. Imam al-Shafi'i, or the Shafi'i school and the Hanbali school, they say tartib, the proper order of you washing and doing the masah, needs to be in proper order, just like in the ayah. Imam al-Shafi'i and Imam Ibn Hanbal, their schools, if they said it is a fard, which means if you break the order or you change the order, your wudu is invalid. That's what it means. However, the school of the Hanafi school and the Maliki school, they don't make it a fard. They think it is proper to do it in the order. It is a sunnah, okay? It is a sunnah, and it is disliked if you break the order. But they don't make it a fard, okay? Now, what is their dalil? For those who say it is not a fard, what do they say? What is their evidence? For example, one of the examples, they quote the ayah. For example, there's many ayat in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ands things like do this and this. For example, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ, and establish the salah and give the zakat, right? Does it mean the salah has to come before the zakat? Does it mean that because the salah comes first and the zakat comes next? Does the ending imply order? In this case, no. And another example is, for example, in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ, and complete the hajj and the umrah for Allah. It's agreed upon by all the scholars that you can also do umrah before the hajj. And here it says complete the hajj and the umrah. So and doesn't imply an order. Is that clear? And what was the ayah? Wash your faces and wash your arms and do the masah of your head and wash your feet. So those who say it is not fard, it is not from the ayah, they're looking at and it doesn't mean after, okay? And just means it is part of. So the order is not fard. You clear where is this coming from? Okay. There's another weak evidence. It's a weak hadith. It's munqata. It's strong until Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anh, but there's a weakness of it going up to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's munqata. It's cut off. Where Ibn Mas'ud said, "La ba's an tabda'a bi rijlayk qabla yadayk fil wudu." Then there's no harm if you begin from your feet before you go to your arms in wudu. That's what he said. It's a weak evidence. Okay, there's other evidences. We don't have to go on it now. Those scholars, and who are they? Imam Shafi'i and Imam Ibn Hanbal, their schools, they say it is a fard, meaning order is important, otherwise your wudu is not valid. They say the ayah of the wudu itself is the evidence, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not say things unnecessarily. If there's an order that's there, we're going to follow the order, and we're going to look into this concept a little bit more. So that's reason number one. It's not a hadithi evidence, okay? This is just the scholarly way of just understanding the Quran and the ayat and the ahkam and the rulings and from the Quran. This is the impression. You take it at face value. If there is an order, we're going to go with the order unless otherwise specified, right? Imam al-Nawawi said, this is brilliant. Imam al-Nawawi, this is so smart. Subhanallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon him and accept him. And of course, the barakah of Imam Nawawi is everywhere. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put so much barakah in his work. Anyway, he says, Allah put the masah in between the ghasals. Okay? So it's a little bit, it is a little bit something you need to think about with me, along with me. Let's go back to the ayah of wudu. I hope, I know it's not translated. Just follow along if you can on the screen. فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ, wash your faces, وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ, and your arms. Okay, so typically in Arabic, when you want to and things, you want to and things that are similar to each other. Okay, and you also wash the feet. وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ, but here the washing, there's two washings, and then there's a masah, وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ, and then there's another washing, وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ. So he's saying, if the and was not part of the order, if the anding didn't make part of the order, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have put washing the face, washing the arms, and washing the feet together, and then do the masah. But the ayah specifically inserts the masah in between the washings, which implies that it is in order. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wouldn't have done that. Does that make sense? You see how they think, how the scholars are thinking? It's so, subhanAllah, brilliant. So this is the qawl, opinion of Imam al-Nawawi. And then, inshallah, let's continue. Also, the hadith of the sins falling off, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam described, as you do the madmada and the istinshaq, and then you wash your face and you wash your arms and those kind. He specifies an order that your sins fall off as you do that, and we will study that in detail, inshallah, later on. But that there's many hadiths where the order is defined, and all other authentic hadiths show that there is no discrepancy in the order of the wudu. It's all the descriptions of the wudu describe it the same way in order. So which means the order is part of the wudu. It's part of the wudu. And also there is a very, very famous hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he went out to do the sa'i after the umrah, Safa Marwa, the sa'i. So there's a hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when he went to the masjid and he wanted to know where to start, he went back, he's quoted the ayah. He said, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the Quran about Safa and Marwa? Inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'airillah. Safa and Marwa are from the monuments of Allah, right? They are from the significant monuments in our deen. What did Allah mention first? Safa, then Marwa. But it doesn't say then Marwa. It says Safa and Marwa. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam famously said, this is authentic, nabda, when he was asking, or people were asking, where should we start from? Should we start our sa'i from Marwa, or should we start our sa'i from Safa? He said, nabda'u bima bada Allahu bih. We will start from where Allah started from. Meaning Safa first, then Marwa. So the general rule of understanding the ahkam is you follow the order specified in the Quran, whether it's and or then or whatever, unless there's evidence to allow switching or otherwise. Make sense? So that's the science. So inshallah, most likely the order is part of is important, and doing it out of order is not correct. However, we need to obviously respect these opinions of the scholars, but actually all of them really say don't break the order. They just say it's fard or sunnah, but they just dislike breaking the order. So what is the safest thing to do? Stay in order. Okay, so if we're doing wudu and we accidentally do the opposite, the safest thing to do is to start again. It's quick enough, inshallah, easy enough. Okay, does that make sense? If it's difficult, I'm really not gonna go there because I'm not qualified to answer those questions. Just start from the beginning. Inshallah, it'll be fine. Clear? Any questions on that one? Okay, the second topic I want to quickly cover also. It's another short topic, which is continuity or immediacy. Okay, what does that mean? Meaning you wash your face and then you go and you have a phone call, you call Brother Min'am, Min'am, assalamu alaikum, how are you doing? And then you come back and then you wash your arms. That breaks the continuity, right? Is that allowed or is that not allowed? So that's the topic, okay? No, you can't immediately not allowed, right? Yeah, okay. So, yeah. So furudul wudu sitta, and according to Imam Ibn Hanbal, muwala, which means continuity, is a fard. It's a fard. Continuity is important. If you break the continuity, meaning you do something else in the middle, then that breaks your wudu. Okay? All right. So Imam Ibn Hanbal said, it is important that you don't let the previous portion dry before doing the next. If the previous portion dries, your wudu is not valid. You have to start again. Imam Malik, he has a concession and there's evidences behind it. He says, yes, this is true. It's fard, but he says there are exceptions. Okay? You're allowed to delay if you have forgetfulness, right? Let's say you have amnesia or you have some kind of forgetfulness disorder and you're trying to do wudu, and then if you forgot or you just forgot, oh, I needed to I didn't wash my feet. You just walked out, right, without washing your feet, and then you realize later that you need to wash your feet. You can go back and wash your feet. So this is Imam Malik. Does that make sense? Okay. Imam Shafi'i says this is a sunnah, so you can separate and not be continuous. Okay, and we'll talk about how long to not be continuous, inshallah, in a second. And Imam Abu Hanifa said, in the Hanafi school, said it's only mustahab. It's mustahab meaning it's preferred. It's neither sunnah nor fard. It is just a preferred thing to do, that you don't break the continuity. All in all, don't break the continuity. Okay, don't break the continuity. Okay, however, very, very, very important. Imam Shafi'i, what did he say? It is only a sunnah, right? However, Imam Shafi'i says it becomes a fard if you have problems with incontinence, like bodily functions. If you're going to break your wudu, don't separate your washings, right, for long periods of time, because you may break your wudu because you have a problem with incontinence. So if you have incontinence, it becomes a fard for you to remain continuous in the wudu. Does that make sense? You see how scholars are thinking? It's very important. Okay, and other scholars mostly say due to weather, let's say it's extremely hot in the middle of the desert, or it's extremely cold and the weather is really dry, where the drying can become quick. So it may be true that your face dried before you wash your arms. It can be true because it's so hot, right? In that case, your continuity is not broken. Okay, clear? And Imam al-Nawawi said, rahimahullah, he said, التفريق اليسير, a trivial break in the middle between the washings of your body parts, بين الأعضاء والوضوء لا يضر بإجماع الأمة, that it is a consensus of the ummah that if you take a small break, for example, let's say you're washing your face or whatever, and your phone starts to blare or whatever, distracting you can turn off the phone, right? It doesn't break your wudu to do that. And then you continue with your wudu. Does that make sense? Or move something out, that's okay. That kind of trivial separation between the washings is completely fine. Okay? And then the others, those who say it is a sunnah, they say the ayah does not speak about the continuity. The order is there, the body parts are there, that's all fard, but it has no concept of continuity in the ayah. So how can we make something fard when it is not in the ayah? Okay, so that's the argument, those who say it's not fard. And those who say it is fard, they said, this is again a very interesting, very subtle, very scholarly kind of thing to say. They said, how did this ayah start? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha qumtum ila salah. O believers, when you stand up for prayer. So that's a condition. And what's the response for the condition? When you stand up for prayer, then what you should do? You should do all these things, right? So the jawab, the answer to the shart, needs to be complete. So they're saying if it's incomplete, if you're standing up for prayer and you're doing half wudu and then you walk off and do something else, and then you come back and then continue, you never completed the ijabah, because you're standing up for prayer and you're about to pray and you need to do wudu and you did the wudu and you did it partially. That is not responding to the commandment of Allah. So it's just a very subtle thing, okay? And the ahadith, the authentic ahadith out there that describe the wudu, they don't describe any discontinuity between the Sahaba or those who are watching the Sahaba do the wudu, or Rasulullah being seen doing the wudu. It's not, the discontinuity is not in there. And then there's a very, very famous hadith, this right there, that one time a man did the wudu, but he left a piece of his foot not wet, dry. He let a piece of his foot dry, just a part of it, okay? Rasulullah noticed it. So he comes, and he's, about to pray. Rasulullah noticed that part of his foot is dry. What did he say? Irja' fa ahsin wudu'ak. Return, go back and do ihsan with your wudu, or do the best wudu. And there's multiple ways to understand this. So basically Rasulullah so those who say it is sunnah, they will say, oh, all he would do is go back and just wet the part of his foot that was dry, and wet that, and that would complete his wudu. Because this hadith is not absolutely clear about what he did, right? But then Imam al-Nawawi disagrees that this is not the evidence for continuity. This is why. Because the hadith is not clear. Rasulullah did not say, go back and repeat your wudu. He didn't say that. He just said, perfect your wudu. Ahsin wudu'ak. So Imam al-Nawawi, that's why he said it's sunnah, it is not fard. Okay? However, there's another weak hadith. Its authenticity is disputed. Some say it's correct, some say it's authentic, some say it's not authentic. Same story, same event, the wordings are different. What did Rasulullah say to him? No, and this is just somebody narrating that Rasulullah commanded him, فَأَمَرَهُ أَنْ يُعِيدَ الْوُضُوءَ وَالصَّلَاةَ, then he should repeat his wudu and his salah. The authenticity of this is disputed. Safe bet, just be continuous as much as you can, as much as possible. Don't take breaks in the middle. Small little breaks are okay, and Allah knows best. Any questions? Was this helpful? I know this is something we probably don't even think about. Okay? Yeah, stay in order and be continuous. If you break the order, start from the top. Inshallah, that is the safest opinion. If you're discontinuous for a long time, safe opinion, just go ahead and repeat the wudu. Okay? Inshallah. Any questions?
Right.
If you have a reason, if there's incontinence or and for any good reason you want to delay, you want to separate, that's okay. That's an opinion. That's a safe opinion. You can take that opinion. No problem. No problem. For any reason whatsoever, you take the safe opinion. Okay. Why is there a conflict? Well, it's just how you interpret the ayah or interpret the hadith. Okay, for example, is continuity described in the ayah in any way? Continuity? Not the order, but the continuity. No. But you look at other evidences, right? The ayah doesn't say it, but the other evidences say that there was Rasulullah always followed the order. The Sahaba always followed the order. Everybody, all the Tabi'in always followed the order. So whether or not continuity described in the ayah, in the general practice, if that's true, nobody is okay with breaking the order. There's no known instance. There's only a weak hadith that says order can be broken. It's a weak evidence. What are you going to say? Well, you have to do it in order, right? Otherwise, the scholars say you open the door for confusion. So they want to close the door of confusion. Then anybody would do wudu any which way they want to. Correct? So that's what scholars are trying to do. Now, the other scholars would say, those who don't agree that the order is important or it's fard, they will say, Allah never made it fard. Rasulullah never said it is fard. How can I make it fard? But they also say, do it in the order because we dislike it if you break the order. So what are they really saying? Well, they're being very technical. They're saying, yes, technically it's not fard, but we prefer that you do it in order. So there's really no disagreement. There's a technical disagreement. It is not a disagreement that we should all use. No. Does that make sense? Does that clarify? It is never advised. There's a very, very crude statement. The general public, are not entitled to have an opinion. That's what the scholars say. The general public are not entitled for an opinion. Oh, I will do this versus that. No, you don't have enough knowledge to even say that. So don't say that. That makes sense? So what does that mean? You got to follow somebody or a school. If you have the knowledge of the school, go learn that school. If you don't know, or learn that school, or you follow the person who you know is qualified to have an opinion, then you ask them and then you follow their opinion. You don't have an opinion. The general public does not have an opinion. What is the world nowadays? Everyone has an opinion. That's right. But there's a reason I'm doing that, because I'm doing this in America where there's Maliki people, there's Shafi'i people, there's Hanbali people, there's non-school people, non-taqlidi people. There's all kinds of people. When I'm teaching wudu, what do I teach? What do I teach? And there's a mix over here, right? There's the Salafi influenced brothers over there. There's Hanafi influenced brothers over here. There's Maliki people from North Africa, mashallah. There's Hanafi people from Pakistani background. There's Shafi'i born and raised in Jordan, mashallah. So I have to tell you what's Shafi'i, what's Hanafi. That's my job, right? How many people do what I'm trying to do right now? Very few. Very few. That's one, and the other is they don't want to confuse the public. But I think the public remains confused. They are just using their own opinion. I should do this or this or this or this. What I'm trying to show is why there's a disagreement, and then through that we are learning many things. We are learning how the scholars think. So I'm educating you. I'm not just telling you the how to. I'm trying to educate myself and educate you. How scholars think and why they say what they say. One. Two, I'm showing you the diversity of the opinions, that if you fall into any one of them, you're okay. Okay? If you don't fall into any one of them, you're probably not okay. Okay? Number three, it's teaching you respect of other ways that you're not familiar with. So opening your mind for tolerance. You're becoming more tolerant. Okay, if they're doing wudu this way, that's also valid. And I'm doing wudu this way, they're also valid. If they're wetting their neck, it's valid, right? If they're putting a lot of effort in doing their ears a certain way, that's valid, because there is an opinion out there. So it's teaching you tolerance, it's teaching you how scholars think, and it's telling you if you fall in any one of those categories, you're okay, right? So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You don't distract somebody else's salah to make a point, even if you're correct. You're not going to go there. You're not going to do that. After the salah, for example, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he saw a man praying very quickly. Did he stop him in the middle of that? Stop. Freeze. Come over here. No. What did he do? Yeah, he let him finish. And then he called him over. It's like, go back and pray. Yeah. Go back and pray. And then he go and repeated the prayer. And then he did it quickly again. And then he like, no, go back and pray. No, he didn't stop him in the middle. Yeah. And through this education, one more thing. I'm making us stronger. When we are unified, we become a formidable force. Especially if we know, you can go and reference the videos back and you'll go, there's evidence for this, there's evidence for this opinion, there's evidence for your evidence is now you don't have to read 1,000 books to know this. You can just go to my videos and say, okay, there's evidence and these are the reasons. Khalas. End of story.